This bizarre doll turned out to be the man's wife. John, like always, came home from work. He opened the door and tiredly ate the dinner prepared by Ellie. John kept praising how delicious the meal was. However, Ellie didn't respond at all to his compliments. At that moment, John took out the gift he had prepared for her. But just as he was putting the bracelet on her wrist, he suddenly heard a crack. John looked up and saw Ellie's head had fallen off. It seemed she didn't like the bracelet. John quickly put her head back in place and told her not to be angry. He promised he would fix her neck by tomorrow. That night, John and Ellie were sleeping, but he was soon woken up by the sound of running water. John got out of bed to check. He found the kitchen sink was filled with water. He was sure he hadn't turned on the faucet. So where did all this water come from? John didn't think much of it, assuming it was just a clogged pipe. He reached into the sink to try to unclog it, but accidentally cut his finger. Switching hands, he reached in again, and sure enough, pulled something out. It was the chain from his bag. John started looking around the room for his backpack, but found that the bag he had left on the table had vanished. The next day, John called a plumber. After inspecting the pipes, the plumber shockingly found a bunch of hair in the drain. John was very confused. His wife was a doll, how could her hair clog the sink? John called the landlord to ask about it, but when the call connected, no one spoke on the other end. Instead, there was only an eerie sound of running water. Though it was strange, John didn't think too much of it. Realizing Ellie still hadn't been repaired, he quickly packed her up to return her to the factory. But just then, John suddenly heard a sound from the sink. As he walked closer to investigate, he saw filthy water gushing out of it. John was about to call the plumber again, but when he turned around, he discovered Ellie had disappeared. At the same time, the sink behind him kept overflowing. John turned back to look, only to find Ellie eerily reappearing in the sink. Terrified, John sat at the dining table, crying to his new wife. It turned out John was a real estate agent. People often went missing in this apartment. According to rumors, this place used to be the site of a cult's church. It only became an apartment after the cult leader died. John knew all too well how creepy this place was, but for the sake of money, he still kept introducing new tenants to live there.